Hi, everybody. Welcome out to the March Pressbooks Product Update. I'm Steel Wagstaff, the Pressbooks Product Manager, and wanted to share with you some of the things that we've been working on and that have released to our users over the last month. So to start with, there was a couple of things that we put into production for everybody. They were some bug fixes that were kind of important for both the EPUB export generator and the LTI common cartridge export generator. The common cartridge changes will primarily be affecting users of the Blackboard LMS. So there was an extra line in our common cartridges that Blackboard started to choke on and struggle with. So we took it out of the export. So if you're using Blackboard and you're using our LTI provider plugin, the export should now be working and should be importing without problems or concerns anymore. The other big thing that came out of that was we were trying to think about how we could improve the overall experience for people that are network managers. And so we have Thomas, who's our new support and documentation specialist. And Amy and I looked over the Pressbooks Network Manager Guide. And so if you haven't seen this before or haven't seen it recently, we did a pretty big overhaul of what the Network Manager Guide is and includes. So I thought I would just highlight a couple of features here that are things that have changed here. We reorganized the kind of structure here. So there's now an introduction section that kind of helps explain what a network manager is and what that role looks like. So for people that are new to it or aren't quite familiar, that's there. And then it kind of describes the things that you can do and gives you an overview of some other resources that you might want to find, as well as the full 50-minute network manager training that Amy does and has recorded. So this video is now available here. If you were to open it on YouTube, and if you look here, there's chapters that have been added to the video, so you can jump to the section that's relevant for what you'd like to see and study. So hopefully that makes it easier for people to find things on demand and what they need more quickly. In addition to reading the introduction, you'll see that there's a couple other sections. We kind of highlighted the community forum up front, which is a place that you can go and talk to other network managers. And then we sort of are breaking it into different sections. So one is, as a network manager, you have what's called the network admin dashboard. And so here's a section about all the things that you can do from the network admin dashboard. It shows you where it's at and what you can do with it. And we kind of talk about how you can administer books, users, configure your options, view the stats, and then also view the new page visit and refer stats from that Cocoa Analytics integration that we built for our hosted networks. The second thing that's covered is how to customize the appearance of your network root site. And so we restructured those chapters and pages there. And then we have a few sections. This one's still kind of in progress. We're trying to figure out what goes here, but a really common thing that network managers will do is provide support to your users, people that are close to the ground there. And so we have a couple of chapters that kind of cover common things that your users may ask you that's really helpful for you to know. One of the big things, and Amy can talk about this more if people have questions, is every month we host a couple of training webinars on kind of if I'm a beginner and new to Pressbooks or advanced topics in Pressbooks. So this guide chapter kind of talks about the monthly webinars. You can find them on our marketing website here. Amy updates and runs these, so you can see we've got a couple scheduled for April and May. So you can always let your users know if they want to learn how to get started or how to use some advanced features. Those happen every month and they're open to anybody on your networks. Thomas has really improved the documentation for people that are using our single sign-on plugins. So many of you have integrations with your campus identity providers. And so the SSO chapter for a single institution has been overhauled, and there's now a short video that shows how you can configure this from the network manager or identity provider point of view, which is hopefully going to save people a lot of time. And then we describe the settings. If you're doing it as a consortia, there's also a separate plugin and a different video that kind of explains how to do that there on the consortia level. And then the last thing that we've overhauled and done is for people that are using that LTI provider or the Pressbooks Results for LMS, we've overhauled the sections here for how to make that easier. Thank you, everybody that gave us feedback on that, especially people that have been participating in the pilot for the Results for LMS. So now if you go here, you're going to see LMS-specific instructions where the instructions are all kind of written out step by step. And for every single one of them at the bottom, there's just a video. This one, for example, is about 5 minutes long, and it just shows every step from beginning to end for Canvas. We now have a video for Blackboard. We have a video for Moodle, and we have a video for D2L. So if you're using any of the 4 major LMSs, each step along the way has detailed documentation, and they now have videos, thanks to Thomas and Amy. So that was a pretty big undertaking, and I want to thank everybody that was involved in that. And we also want to thank a lot of you, because as network managers, you're the ones who tell us what's working and what isn't for you. If you're working through that guide and you see something that you think, hey, it'd be really nice if this was there, or this doesn't make sense, or it's out of date or inaccurate, please do let us know. We want to make that better. We want to make it serve your needs, and we want to help you succeed with whatever your publishing intentions are. Okay, Lauren noted that what she does at Washington is adds the webinars to their university events calendar, so that people from the university community can see those events and attend them, since they're free to anybody at the University of Washington. And a couple of people are saying that's a good idea. Thanks, Lauren. All right, another big thing that happened in the month of March is, I guess it's springtime. So a couple of us took spring break, and so hopefully you took some spring break. We had a little bit of off time. One of our developers moved with his family from Brazil to Montreal. So he took some time off the last couple of weeks, and that's a big life change, and we're really excited for him and his partner. And then another one of our developers welcomed a new member to their family and is on parental leave now. And that's also a big change. So our development capacity was down a little bit. And so we took some time to focus on paying off some technical debt and improving infrastructure and doing some other kind of long-awaited changes, since our team capacity was down a bit. Christopher, who introduced himself earlier, is our VP of Technology and has helped us make a bunch of really positive infrastructure changes lately. So a couple of things that you'll notice if you're hosted with us, we're now running PHP 7.4, which is in long-term support. And so you'll notice that probably your networks are running a little bit faster with a later version of PHP. And we've also migrated all of the networks that we host to a new database. It's called MariaDB, and we're using a newer version of it. So hopefully database queries will also be performant, and we like the engine for the database a little bit better. Some of that's kind of like nerdy details that won't affect your users, but the point that we want to convey to you is the infrastructure that hosting matters to us. We're always trying to make it fast and performant, and we have really smart people like Christopher helping us constantly think about it and improve what we're doing. So hopefully you've noticed good and better performance on your infrastructure that will continue in the future. If you have questions about how things are hosted or infrastructure concerns, we're always open to hear them, but we will try to communicate clearly and quickly about any changes that might be affecting you. So there you go. The last thing, which I'm not going to really demo, is we had a development contract to do a bunch of work for eCampusOntario. There's a very large consortium use of Pressbooks, and we finished that work over the last month. We'll probably demo it for eCampusOntario. A bunch of it's just for their network. They wanted to be able to do some custom things that only Ontario cares about. So I won't demo it on the large product call, but we did spend a fair amount of time doing those things. Stephen, if you want to talk outside this meeting, that's all done and delivered as far as we know, and we'll just check with you and Rama to make sure it meets your specifications and it's good. So that was a big learning experience for us, and hopefully it helped meet the Ontario needs for what they were paying us to deliver. And that's kind of the presentation for the work that we did in March. The two things that I want to do now, though, is I want to start talking specifically with network managers about some changes and improvements we'd like to make, and I'd like to really hear from you all. So I will pause the recording here so that you can speak more freely. Thanks again, everybody, for coming out to our monthly product update and for sharing all your great ideas. We'll be back next month, and we'll take a closer look at user feedback on the Aldine catalog. Can't wait to talk to you then. Thanks for all you do.